those who hate change will hate irrelevance a lot more.
Oh, 100%. We talk about this over and over and over again. There's a graveyard of businesses that didn't continue to develop and evolve.
Right.
And people are more inclined to talk about the experience that's bad because it stands out and it made them feel bad. So listen to those things. And that's where you can get some ideas about how to go in a different direction.
And, all you can do is smile.
Right.
Because that's the work you want done. The authority and the validation was built so high that you really weren't selling. You're facilitating the transaction.
Correct.
And I think that's a distinct difference.
On nice days, I saw an albino squirrel for the first time in my life.
Did you?
Have you ever seen an albino squirrel?
I cannot say.
This is the
that I have not.
Business Podcast.
You have not?
With Corey.
I cannot say that I have not, but because I don't know if it's something I would remember if I did. Like,
this was stark.
A white squirrel.
Right. This was stark. Like I was walking in the neighborhood and a couple weeks ago and I saw it, and then I was walking again on Sunday and it was in the sound. I was like, wow, okay, so they must live here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you go question it?
I went to go ask him. I was going to interview him.
What are you doing around these parts?
I was going to interview him. I was like,
what's your address?
Like,
who you here with?
Like, where you...
Has the HOA been notified?
And he ran.
He ran. Oh, okay. I'm just glad it was a white squirrel. That's all I want to say. Well, listen, that music music and that our random thoughts can only mean one thing. You have arrived at the place that you want to be to get information to grow your business. None other than the Grow Business Podcast. We're super excited to have you back for another week where we get to rant and share and have a little therapy. Today's a therapy.
Okay.
Yeah, today's topic, because I'm so irritated about something that's going on that I said, well, what's the point of having your own podcast if you can't talk about what you want, right? So we're super excited to have you here. I am your host, Corey Mosley, joined in the co-captain seat for a smooth travel to our destination. Happy to have you on board. LG007 Lon Graham is here.
Voice of reason.
Whoa, okay.
It's good to be here, Corey.
Yes. And of course, he's out of the gate, 122, doing well.
Yep.
Let's see how he fares over the next 40 minutes. Willie H is here.
Hit the buttons, William.
All right, so if you're a first-time listener, well, welcome. We're super excited to have you. If you're streaming us on YouTube or Spotify video, we'd love to. We're waving to you. We'll give you a wave right now. It's us waving to you. If you're listening on Apple and some of the other services, just know we virtually wave to you. But if you're new to the show, there you go. All right, good. He's on fire this morning. There's definitely a difference between morning recordings and late afternoon recording
100%.
for certain, right? Yeah, no doubt about it. So if you are a first-time guest here, again, super excited to have you here. We focus on one thing, so much so we put it in the name, on helping your business grow. Now, our show is primarily for those who are in business, running businesses already, entrepreneurs, small business owners, also those in the C-suite who influence the growth of their business. You might be vice president of growth, a CMO, a COO, CEO. So we're here to do that. We're not the startup show. So because some of the things we talk about, involve spending money or investment or these different types of things, which, again, a lot of times starting out, particularly we're not talking about, seed rounds and investors and those type of things. But we base our premise on the 5 pillars of business growth. We believe that I say we by now. I think we believe now. We believe that any business growth challenge can be overcome. And falls within one of these 5 pillars that we love to target every single week for you. LG, what are those 5 pillars in order?
Well, Corey, thank you for asking. And you're asking for a lot, asking for them in order.
Yes.
So it's mindset, sales, marketing, operations, and people.
Excellent. So next week, we're going to move that little sticky.
I didn't even look.
You didn't look. I tell you, that's good. That's good. Rule number 1, know your material. Right? I think that is important.
Enough repetitions, right? It's the evidence that repetitions create
that is correct.
progress and success.
Correct. That is correct. We must repeat the action. And we go deeper in this. I go deeper in this in my latest book, Position for Growth.
Indeed.
Available online now for your reading pleasures.
Okay.
So today, this week's show, I wanted to talk about something. I'm experiencing something I'm not happy with. Because I don't understand lackadaisical. I don't understand. Just a laissez-faire.
Okay.
In business, particularly when your business is largely derived around like commissions and things of that nature.
Okay. Sure.
So today I want to talk about how your competitor's weakness is your growth strategy.
And it's stronger than oak.
Good.
Because, man, there's opportunity everywhere.
Yes.
I wish I could get into all these wedges and areas of business where people have just given up. I mean, or people just, I don't know what is the country club culture. I don't know what it is. We've got several real estate things going on the commercial side.
Okay.
And, man, I been disappointed in the engagement. Like, no one wants to, like, I don't know what it is.
Right.
Like, I understand the weather's turned. Everybody's got a tea time or something. But, whew.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm just stunned at and you and I talked about this a while ago during the networking season.
Oh, yeah.
And, a couple places that you were going to, a couple areas that you were prospecting in, you would come back and I'm like, oh, how'd it go? So, but a lot of these people are, whether on the other side of things or fat on the hog, so to speak.
Right.
If you're an insurance agent and you've been at it 30 years and you've been successful, you've got a predictable book of business,
correct.
Right? You don't have the same aggressiveness as the guy that just started Tuesday.
Right.
And that's great as long as it lasts.
Right.
What I don't want to hear is you waking up 3 years from now going, where did all my business go? Right. And now it's the economy. Now it's the market. It's who's president. It's who's in office. Right. It's everybody. And now it goes, well, what about those 762 phone calls you didn't make or you made 4 days too late?
Right.
That bad.
Or your inability to communicate with your customers, communicate, do some simple things. Use the technology that's available to you to have these touch points. Right. I'm sure I told you the story in the car business where years ago we brought CRM, customer relationship management, to the dealership, and we had a guy retire.
Oh,
and he said, I'm not doing all this. I'm not calling people on their birthday or calling my cousins, calling the customers that spent money with me that I earned a living and made a commission on. Right. I'm not calling for their birthday. I'm not calling a customer who was just in service to see how they're doing. Right. I'm out. He just hung it up.
In the same vein, Corey, when I was working in surgical sales, I was leading multiple teams, and I had a guy on my team that wanted to hire somebody, and it was somebody, he got introduced to him because they knew somebody who knew somebody, which is the way a lot of the good things happen. Right. And so he goes, Lon, I want you to talk to this guy. I want to hire him. And so I talked to the guy, and he was in the car business. Right. Okay. And he didn't like that he had to use the CRM to keep track of his progress. Right. And I'm like, why do you want to hire this guy? He didn't want to work.
I got note cards. I got my note cards right here. Hold on. Hold on. Shuffle. Oh, it says it right here. Hold on. I can't read. Oh, I spilled coffee on this. Hold on. Is that my bagel jelly? Let me move that out and see what that name is there.
6 or a 0?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm all for. I mean, I love a good if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of situation. But in today's market, man, it's just too insane and
moving too fast,
too crazy. It's funny. I was watching an episode. Like my lunchtime show, like lunchtime when you have like 22 minutes, like your lunchtime. We have like our lunchtime shows. So one of those is The Neighborhood. Oh, okay. On CBS, and I was literally just watching an episode, and I'm probably 12 episodes back, right? Like from where it is. Right. Yeah. But because who has time to watch TV during lunch? Generally, I don't. But we'll put something on mindless just to eat. But Dave was just about to lose his job. Okay. because he put all this AI in at his job.
Okay.
So, the reminders for counseling, he works at like the VA, like counseling, the automated reminders for counseling, automated to-do lists are getting done. So he got so efficient.
Okay.
Then his boss is like, yeah, you've done such good work at this. But so now we really, there's a redundancy here that all this is set up. And like, it was a cliffhanger, so I haven't gotten to the rest of the episode. But it just made me think about this idea, like, and I've often quoted in my presentations and my keynotes, a retired military general said, those who hate change will hate irrelevance a lot more.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that's so interesting here. But this is the world of opportunity.
Correct.
Right? So,
right.
And the funny thing is, most businesses are trying to outwork their competition.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you to put a pin in that. Why don't we focus on being smarter about it and focus on out-positioning?
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Oh, I like
that. Was
that.
good.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So I want to look at that,
Okay.
So we want to talk about, identifying competitor complacency, gaps, blind spots, and then also how you can turn those into revenue, right? Market share gains or entirely new entry points.
Yes.
Like I'm thinking about the real estate world. Maybe you've had a successful residential realty, but now it's an opportunity for commercial. Maybe you've been in commercial, like because you can see what's lacking there. So, because here's the complacency trap, right? So where a lot of people are vulnerable, and a lot of your competition are vulnerable, is comfort.
Yes.
Right, becomes one area. So revenue is good enough.
Right.
Legacy customers keep buying.
Right.
Our systems are outdated, but they're still working. Duct tape and all.
That bad.
So it becomes that situation. And then growth stalls. Mm-hmm. Innovation stops.
Right.
Oh, we got to contract. Right?
Right.
I mean, some of the guys that grow the most are the ones that continue that spin through the issue, or invest through the issue to come out on the other side.
Right.
Because then, if not, customer experience also is affected.
Yes. Yeah. So a couple things, Corey. I mean, when we talk about what we're realizing is not what we've done today. It's what we've done over the last 6 months. So if things are stalling, it's because the last 6 and maybe 12 months, depending on your business, and how long your lead time is. What's happening today is based on what we've done, not what we're doing. What we're doing will drive the next 6 months.
Right.
So if you're looking at situations where your business is stalled, look at what you've done.
Right. Yeah.
And start to figure out how to. Because here's the thing about change. Change is going to happen. Mm-hmm. You're either going to drive it or it's going to drive you. And if it's driving you, often it drives you out.
Right. I mean,
this might be a guy I want to work with.
I like that. And I think the interesting thing here is for people to realize, that ultimately, your competitor's comfort zone is your entry point.
Yeah.
Right?
Very much so.
I mean, so what are you looking for? So this is now, we want to turn you into opportunists, right? We want to turn you into research folks.
Yes.
Okay? So what are you looking for? Well, one of my favorite topics. Do your competitors have outdated websites? Do they have outdated branding?
Right.
Can you mystery shop them? Do they have slow response times?
Right.
Do they have reviews online that are negative that don't get responded to?
Oh, okay.
Where you hear people talking about the issues.
Right.
Right? They're saying, hey, those people never got back to me, or I couldn't get my refund, or nobody answers the phone, or once they get my money, no one, service slowed, or whatever. They're non-responsive. Where do you see those patterns there? Are they operating with limited service offerings? So can adding some variety to the mix be a strong point for you? Can you identify anything that they're doing that is kind of that's how we've always done it culture?
Right.
In my day, right? This is how we do it around here. So are there things that you can do? And like, I'm referring to that ultimately, and my suggestion here is to think about this in terms of building a competitor weakness audit.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And looking at it that way. So customer experience, speed, offer structure, marketing presence, pricing clarity, the whole kit and caboodle there.
Absolutely. And you know, the when we're talking about competitors and complacency, they've figured out their lane, and they decided that that's where they're going to stay. So there's business that they're walking away from because it's not in their lane.
Right.
So if you can identify that business, and that's what you're talking about, reviews, opportunities, denials, service offerings, timing, or delivery systems. If you can identify where they're saying that's just not in our lane, that's an opportunity for you to capture that and maybe even make that your lane,
right?
So that you become the one known for that.
Yeah, no, I like that. You know, complacency is a silent business killer.
Yes.
You know, get us Corey Mosley.
I don't know what that meant.
I don't know. Yeah,
but it sounded good.
Yeah. I don't know. That was okay. That was interesting. Okay,
it sounded good.
Yeah, well, I get so complacency. Yeah, get us Corey Mosley. I like it.
Okay.
I didn't see
All right.
Well, yeah, I get it now. I mean, I'm putting it together in real time. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, to restate that point, complacency is the silent business killer, right?
Yes.
And your biggest opportunity as we talk about the competitive landscape.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, the moment they stop improving, they, being the competitors,
correct,
is your moment to start winning. And people, and you know, so that pacing is how can I get ahead? Not like, oh, okay, great. Well, they're doing that, I'm doing that. Okay, we're even keeled. No. It's called competitive advantage for a reason.
Right.
So, now, all right, go ahead. You want to make a point there? Before I go on to the next point.
Well, I mean, the only thing I'll say here, Corey, is that at some point they were the competitive advantage because they created a space for themselves,
right?
And they've become comfortable in that day. And we talk about this over and over and over again. There's a graveyard of businesses that didn't continue to develop and evolve.
Right.
Kodak, Blockbuster, these big businesses that were billion-dollar businesses. So they got beat by a competitive advantage. Somebody saw something that they weren't doing or weren't willing to do and latched onto it and made it their business model and distinguished Netflix and Blockbuster, right? Netflix said, okay, well, you're not going to do streaming and online. We are.
Sure, correct.
And we're going to crush you. And that made, and what we're talking. Right.
Good luck. Right. They hit him with Blockbuster, hit him with the Taken.
Right.
When he told him I've got a very special set of skills.
That's exactly right.
And that guy said, good luck.
Good luck. Love that.
And then Liam Neeson came and killed them all.
Right. Well, it's this curse of knowledge. You know what you're doing so well that you don't need to do anymore because what you're doing is the right thing.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about now you as a person who's looking for a competitive advantage, identify where they've plateaued, identify things that they've decided they're not going to do because it doesn't make sense for them.
Yeah.
And use that then as something that you can latch onto and embrace and create your own lane for it.
Voice of reason.
There you go. We got you one in there.
All right.
All right. Next up.
Yeah.
So I want to continue this. We talked about the audit piece. I'm going to continue this conversation about your ability to listen to their customers, right? Yeah. That's where a real gold mine of opportunity is because your competitors' customers are telling you exactly what to build or what may be lacking from the other businesses. Because you have it is still amazing to me in 2026 the amount of people who will discount reviews or complaints or social media comments,
right,
and not engage or say, oh, you know, I'm not worrying about that. I didn't want that customer anyway,
right.
And part of that is because most business owners do not invest in training in customer engagement or customer experience or customer service. Like if we want to take it at this most base level.
Right.
most don't have an investment in it. It's like, oh, Corey, we're a golden rule organization. Oh, okay. Why do you have to wreck this company? There's some good ones in there now. He's busy. He's been working. He's been cooking in the kitchen there. Okay. I like these.
Absolutely.
Because it's wreckable. That's the answer to that. And we're doing Wall Street quotes.
Right.
But, Gordon, why do you have to wreck this company? Because it's wreckable.
That's right.
Go ahead. I love that movie.
We're talking about identifying, frustration with your competitors.
Sure.
And you're right. They don't. Most companies don't train, especially their frontline people, how to deal with customer feeling and customer emotion. They're very process oriented and sometimes product oriented, depending on what your business is. And they don't engage the customers in a way that makes them feel like they're valuable. Right. And so when they're frustrated, then it gets revealed, and then that just shows that it comes across like you don't care about them. Right. Going back to like, where can you get your data from about where people are frustrated? A lot of people are in networking groups. A lot of people work in, like, our friend that owns BNI. Those are groups where people not only talk about their business, they talk about their experiences with other businesses.
That's right.
And people are more inclined to talk about the experience that's bad because it stands out and it made them feel bad. So listen to those things. And that's where you can get some ideas about how to go in a different direction.
And that's even beyond the reviews. And then you have other areas that people overstep, like Reddit threads.
Okay.
Like, if you're depending on your business, your area, like Reddit is such a huge forum for people sharing ideas and who's doing this and who's doing that. And I will go to a Reddit thread for just about any, like, as we banking, other like services, like really service-based stuff too. And there's threads for everything.
Okay.
So, learning what people are complaining about, like looking at your competitors, what are they complaining about in those threads, and what are they sharing ideas about? I wish so-and-so did X, Y, Z.
Right.
Oh, I've seen that 4 or 5 times.
Correct.
Can I do that in my business? Right. And then go after those people. And not even those people one-to-one, but looking at what the masses are saying consistently to go, oh, this is something that people want.
Right.
Now I'm going to go do it.
Right, I'm going to go be that. I'm going to go be that and be the best at it.
Correct. Like, there was some complaint. I know we were talking about this the other day. Like, Burger King started putting their, I don't know the last time you had a Whopper at lawn, but still tasty, though. You might get one today now that I'm talking about it. It's pretty tasty.
I have full confidence that it is still, the Whopper is still good.
It's tasty for a reason. But they now put them in these cartons.
Okay.
You used to just wrap it in paper. Now they put it in cartons, like Big Macs.
Okay.
I don't remember I have no idea the why. I think it's the dumbest.
Right. It's hard to get to.
Right. Well, because they still wrap it. So I open the carton, have to take the burger out. The one benefit to unwrapping a burger, like a fast food burger, is you unwrap it, and then the wrapping is the plate.
Correct.
Right? And then you go.
It catches the juice and the
this crap here, I got to open the carton, and the carton is immediately discarded, which is what I don't understand.
Right.
Like, you open the carton, you take the burger out, and then the carton is junk now.
Right.
And I still got to go unravel the thing, but it's a half moon, so it's not completely closed. I guess it's supposed to. I can take it and like munch on it, hold it in my hand, and eat it in the wrapping. I think that may be the goal, which I don't do. But my point was, they took all this feedback to come up with this idea that people wanted it for whatever reason.
Right.
It was too messy or something was happening. I can't remember the reason. You guys can look it up.
Right.
But nonetheless, it was based on that. But so like Reddit, coming back around to other areas, right? We've got the obvious, like the Google reviews, but Reddit threads, industry, like Facebook groups.
Right.
That speak to that. LinkedIn groups, member groups, where people are talking about the things that they don't like about X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Whether by a company or an industry, or their biggest problem with this product is, can you solve for that product?
Right.
So, go ahead.
Well, here's another thing I'll say, too, is most businesses have some level of an association that they can be involved with.
Sure.
Look at your association website and look at what the messaging is for regional meetings and annual meetings. They're talking about problems.
Right.
They have speakers that come in and talk about how to solve problems. If that's in your industry and
Right.
you see a consistent messaging, maybe that's a problem you can solve.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. And so, one of the things to look at, like, because when you think about negative reviews and you think about things like that, your competitors, like negative reviews, also create a product roadmap. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're basically creating that for you. So if you listen better than your competition, I don't know. Maybe you can sell more than your competition, right?
Well,
so go ahead.
I would say, and really to take it down, what we're saying is instead of competing at the same thing and trying to do it better, figure out what's wrong and do that, and then be great at that.
Yeah.
And you'll take their business.
Right.
Maybe this guy can help me.
And from a strategy standpoint, what are we calling it? Let's call it something.
Okay.
Right. So from a strategy standpoint, let's think of it as a complaint capture system.
Okay.
Okay. So now you're documenting patterns.
Okay.
We're categorizing these issues.
Sure.
And, turn these things into offers or improvements.
Right.
That we already know people have a problem with. Don't you hate it when, and that win is all of the stuff that you've captured from your competitive landscape. Don't you hate it when you're interested in the product and no one calls you back? Or you're looking for a piece of commercial real estate and you can't get a call back to save your life because the other guy's having a tea time on the green. Well, hey, here's how I'm different.
Correct.
Right? I return calls. I'm available. You have direct access to me or whatever. I have a same business day return call policy.
Right.
Again, if I saw an ad for a broker right now that said that, he's got me. He's tying into my frustrations.
Right.
Of not getting back, inactivity, no response, slow response. So if his model spoke specifically to that, don't you hate it when? Yes.
Yeah.
All of the above.
And here's the thing that's worth taking a step back and thinking about, Corey. If you may already be doing well what other people aren't, and this may be something that's coming up in our conversation, but you may already be doing it well, you're just not communicating it. And so maybe what you do is you recognize what you're doing well that other people are complaining about, and you change your messaging like you just said.
That's right.
If this is a problem that you have with other people in our space, then call us because this is what we'll do for you.
I mean, here's the interesting thing. And this is speaking directly to what you're saying. Fundamentally, the market is talking.
Yes.
So the market is talking.
Yeah.
It's just that most businesses just aren't paying attention.
Woo.
Yeah.
When the church say amen.
And it was a great tee up there.
Yeah.
So, and when we talk about standing out, we talk about attention, we talk about authority, I think it's a good opportunity to talk about the obvious choice interview.
100%. And so, thank you for bringing that up, Corey. Well, because what we're talking about is the death of easy leads. And one of the biggest reasons businesses are struggling right now is simple. They don't stand out. That's exactly what the obvious choice interview was created for. It's a professionally produced TV-style interview that positions you as the expert in your space. So when people find you, there's no question you're the one. You can use it on your website, in your marketing, on social, everywhere your prospects are deciding if they trust you. Because it's in today's market, the business that looks like the obvious choice wins. If you want to check it out, just head over to obviouschoiceinterview.com and see how it works.
Awesome. Excellent. And it just goes back to this. It's just even when we talk about the trust recession.
Correct.
Right? It's just a show me, don't tell me kind of thing.
Correct.
Okay. So next up, outservice, not outspend. Right? So this isn't about bigger budgets.
Right.
This is improving the experience.
Yes.
And the opportunity to do that. So small improvements equal mass differentiation.
Yes.
Right? Improving your response times, better onboarding, clearer communications, better follow-up systems
Right.
that bring people into the fold. We had a client that we're working with that had someone come to a sales call, and the guy said, listen, I feel like I know all of you already. I've watched your material, I've been online. I've looked, like, we set up a strong content, system
Correct.
out there in the ecosystem. So if you're Googling around for this brand, they're coming up. You're seeing, so it's like, I've watched all the videos. I've watched this testimonial. I've seen this, I've seen that. I really, this is really a formality.
Right.
Like, because you got to go through this process to do business. But how phenomenal. I mean, all you can do is smile.
Right.
Because that's the work you want done. The authority and the validation was built so high that you really weren't selling. You're facilitating the transaction.
Correct.
And I think that's a distinct difference.
It's huge, Corey. And I say this a lot when you're talking about online presence, and we'll go back to the obvious choice interview and the things that you put out into the marketplace, right? There's a lot of people that will go to a networking meeting and talk to 20 people, and one of those 20 might be a good candidate.
Right.
Because they're doing all this qualifying. Mm-hmm. What you're doing online and what you just talked about with this customer that you're working with is they're pre-qualified. And what that means is you get people that are ready to buy.
Right.
And what you don't get are people that aren't for you. Mm-hmm. And what that does is that saves you so much time.
Right.
If somebody can look at what you're doing and recognize that, well, I get it and I see it and appreciate the value that they provide, but that's just not for me.
Right.
Every call you don't have to take is an hour of productivity that you get.
Yeah.
45 minutes to an hour that you get, that you can focus on what you do best and on the people that you can do business with.
No, that makes a lot. And, a lot of times that comes like to when I see sites that have pricing or don't have pricing.
Right.
So, well, Corey, we want to have the opportunity to build more value. Well, why don't you build more value on the website, on the information that you're exposing them to?
Right.
So then, funny enough, this is what we do with the obvious choice.
Right.
Prices are disclosed. Investment is disclosed.
Yes.
So you don't get to the call. Because everybody's waiting for the 800-pound. The 800-pound gorilla in the room.
Right.
Is how much.
Right.
So let's just answer that.
Correct.
So now the efficiency. So when we talk to somebody,
right,
like there's literally a checkbox.
Correct.
That says you acknowledge you've seen the price.
Right.
So there's no surprise.
Correct.
So now if you're coming through, now the close rate is significantly different because all the legwork. So you've got some ancillary questions and now need to facilitate the purchase. That's great.
Right.
But no one's going through the deck and the build up and you get to the end, is it sound good so far?
Right.
Any questions? Any reason other than price? You wouldn't be excited to do this right now? And now and then you get to the big reveal.
Right.
Well, here's the pricing. And it's like the dumb. And then now it's like, now you got to play the shut up and he who talks first loses routine. Right. So, and if you're breaking that down, like from a strategy, from a winning standpoint, ask yourself how you fall in this category, because your competitors could be listening to this, getting ready to poach you. How do you fare on speed, transparency, professionalism, ease of doing business?
Right.
How do you rate in those areas? And can you tighten that up?
100%.
Oh, Corey, I'm that guy. I'm the guy that takes too long to call back. For no reason, because no one's that. I mean, there's a lot of busy people, but they all, they all find time for a tea time.
We're not talking about at the Ritz.
Yeah, exactly. So what does that look like? Well, same day quotes versus 48 hours. Video explanation versus text or emails. Simplifying pricing in lieu of confusing proposals. I was consulting for an AI company, and I'm like, dude, you got all these bolt-ons.
Right.
Plus 500 for this, add this for $299, add this for this, add this for that. You'd be better off just raising the price and selling the package.
Correct.
And selling all the value in the package. And I gotta imagine that costs out better for you too if they don't use, fully that element of the service, but you still have the revenue model built in.
Right.
I don't know why you would want to go here with this base and then go, well, you can add this on, add this on, add this on, add this on, and this one. It just, to me, elongates the sales cycle. You got 10 more questions. You've got 10 check boxes there.
Right.
Just doesn't make any sense to me. And it causes, as they say, time kills deals.
Well, and it causes confusion. And I've been leaning into this saying more and more, Corey, is that choices are great until you have to make one. And then the more choices you have, the harder it is to choose.
Right.
So to your point is when you give bolt-ons and add-ons and you do all these things, car companies figured out a long time ago that you sell 3 packages. You sell the premier package, the middle package, like Audi sells.
Toyota got it right, or Audi, right. Prestige Plus.
And Premier. Yeah.
Right. Or the reverse. Premier Plus, Prestige. Yeah.
Either way, but you got 3. Right.
Right. And they have a better supply chain than our good friends at General Motors, who have the 1SB package, the 1C package, the 2B package, the 2CD, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, F, G package.
Correct.
So supply chain, that was crazy. Again, coming from the auto industry was such a contrast to work for Toyota, right? CE, LE, XLE.
Right.
That's it, dude. That's it.
Right.
We're not doing option package. We're not doing all of that.
Correct.
You go look at a Chevy and then you come look at a Toyota. It's like, and wonder why we got these logistics issues and supply issues and parts and all these other things. I never quite understood that. I'm sure there's an answer, but it's apparently above my pay grade. So, because the deal is you don't need to be the best. Sometimes the easiest wins.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We've talked about this before.
Easiest to work with.
In our area with like the HVAC companies and these guys. There's guys that everyone knows that it's more expensive than everyone else.
Yeah.
But they justify it in professionalism, speed, accuracy, all those things. So don't him and, I can give you a guy, Nick. Nick can come out, he's much less than those other guys.
Right.
Yeah, Nick's coming out when he wants. When he can get to it in an unmarked van, gonna track his mud shoes all over my hardwood floors.
Nick will be out next Thursday.
Right, Nick wants cash.
Cash. Right.
Off the books receipts.
Right.
Which is okay. Which is okay. There's a segment for that.
Correct.
There's a I know a guy segment.
Correct.
And then you know what? I want it done right. My running joke is always I need people I could sue. Right? I have my buddies come move. I have my buddies come move me because I want to save $1,000 from a moving company, and my buddy drops my couch, dents my floor, dents my couch, breaks my TV.
Correct.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah.
My bad.
That money you just saved.
Right. So now now it gets uncomfortable. Now I got to go. You owe me a new TV, dude. Oh well,
we have
I can't be held responsible for that.
We have a contract.
Right. Yeah. See, I don't. Those are just to me not the areas to shortcut.
Right. Agreed.
Buy the Publix brand of cheese if you want to save a few bucks. Publix deli meat instead of boar's head, I guess, if you want to say. But that's not the area to cut corners and those type of things.
We're bringing it back on the Grow Business podcast. We are talking about professional businesses and professional services.
Correct.
Treat it like it's a profession.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Let's talk about where we say where the real money is here, right? So I want to talk next about repositioning the offer.
Okay.
Right? Because most competitors are selling the same thing the same way. Yeah, I like that. And that seems like an opportunity. Right?
It does.
And where's your opportunity? Well, your opportunity is how you may package and how you may position.
Correct.
Right? So, can you add guarantees? Can you create bundles or tiers?
Okay.
Can you introduce subscription models? Because there's a subscription for everything.
Correct.
I saw a nail salon that's got a subscription now.
Good.
Come in and get tightened up.
Yeah.
Just put it on auto recur. So now you're not worried about it.
Yep.
You've built it up. Can you turn can you turn the service into a product? Right?
Yeah.
From that perspective. Can you shift from service to solution? Like just all the different ways that we should be looking at that. So, asking yourself, what are we not offering? What are your competitors making complicated that you can simplify?
Right.
Where is pricing unclear that you can simplify?
Right.
The good, better, best rule, as we were talking about.
It's another thing to think about too is that maybe there's something that you do really well that's not currently part of an offering, and where people come to you and ask for your advice or talk to you, and you're not including that in your business. Maybe you think about, okay, well, because I can do that so well, and because people look at me for that, and it could be coaching, it could be consulting, it could be design, it could be service, it could be any type of offering or product that's in your wheelhouse, but you're just not offering it. Maybe you can add that as part of a package, and then promote that as, with our package, we also do this.
Correct. Right, sure. Absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's really this simple.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you don't need a new market. You just need a new angle.
Let the church say amen.
Right?
Well, how about this? Sometimes you don't need a new market, you just need new marketing.
That too.
Voice of reason.
Well, because here's the thing. Packaging will create perceived value faster than performance.
Yes. 100%. 100%. So, well, let's use, your book, Corey.
Yeah.
Right. What's on the front is what gets people to buy. What's on the inside is the value.
Yeah, correct.
But you put position for growth in the title.
Correct.
So that people know what they're getting and they're interested in that, because I don't know what business owner is not interested in growth unless they're retiring or selling.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Right. Right.
So think about, we'll use your book as a good example of what's on the cover is what attracts people to the book.
Yes.
What's on the inside is what they get when they buy
Over
it.
to Amazon.com and
there you go.
get attracted.
Right.
You better believe it.
That's right.
But what a great way to talk about marketing and messaging, right?
No, 100%. So I think, I think that's the ball game here. So, let's look at 5. Here's the fifth. So here's the fifth and final one.
Okay.
So is there a way to create a new category or niche?
Okay.
Right? Like a blue ocean kind of thing, right? So, if competition is tight, can you change the game?
Yes.
Can you narrow your focus
to
unlock growth opportunities by going industry specific, right? Or demographic targeting, or specialized outcomes. Like all of these things become opportunities for you to look at. Like it's almost like we only serve type positioning.
Correct. Yeah, and gosh, we try and we're all guilty of it at some point in our career. We try and do so much for so many to increase our reach because we think it makes us more effective and more desirable. And the reality of it is when we talk about clarity and confusion, the reality of it makes us more confusing.
Right.
So think about too,
having a business that you talk about baking,
right?
But you're really a restaurant.
Correct.
And you actually have little baked items, but you're more of a restaurant.
Correct.
Like that?
Like exactly like that.
Yeah, okay. Willie H is cracking. Willie H is cracking up.
Are you talking about the one over at the mall?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, closer to home.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it now.
Yeah.
But my point being is that maybe to increase your effectiveness and really create your market differently, look at some things that are low profit, low margin, low performing items that you think you have to offer because it's part of what you offer and you really don't. Maybe you can cut some of these things so that you can increase your speed, you can increase your energy in the areas that you wanted to use to distinguish yourself.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And then also it's, identifying from a strategy standpoint, are there underserved segments?
Yes.
Are there overlooked customers?
Correct.
Are there emerging needs happening?
Correct.
One of the things that we're advising on in the AI space is how the impact that voice agents will have.
You said that, yeah.
On our elderly population.
Oh, interesting.
The folks that can't use the app.
Right.
And can't do app and order ahead or make their service appointment online and all those things. They can't do that.
Right.
And can't, won't, not comfortable. Pick whatever you want.
Aren't.
Right? Yeah, aren't.
Right.
So how can we use that to still service them?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So without the true overhead of human capital as it relates to a traditional call center.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
So, if you can't win the game, change the game.
That's right.
I mean, you know what I mean? So,
Bingo.
That growth, the fastest way, and it's, right on the nose here, to grow, is to become the obvious choice.
Correct.
For someone specific. So it is, there's almost an element of like, they say great artists copy, good artists copy, great artists steal. It's not it's not what I want to talk about, just the last point here.
Right.
It's stealing without stealing. And what I mean by that is it's not copying your competitors, but it's observing the patterns, it's improving the execution, it's differentiating delivery.
Correct.
So to do that, you need to know, right? See it. Right? See it, improve it, position it better, own it.
Right.
Kind of as a cycle.
Correct.
Get us Corey Mosley. Yes.
Because he is the obvious source.
Yes. CoreyMosley.com, LonGrand.com.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, and I think, Corey, too, when we're talking about looking at underserved markets, I think that expand what you're thinking about. Sometimes an underserved market is geographic. If you're in a service-based business and maybe there's an outlier that you can lean into because it's just outside the reach of your competition, or maybe there's a market where you're noticing. I was working with a client at the end of last year, and they were looking at how could they reposition their workforce because they're a service-based business, and they were starting to send about 30% of their workforce to Fredericksburg for service calls.
Okay.
And they're based here in Richmond. And they're like, well, maybe if we build a smaller location and put a workforce in Fredericksburg, we can capture that 30% of our business and grow it. And then we free up 30% of the market that we're using here in Richmond and grow that business. Right. So when I say that, maybe it's a geographic reach, maybe it's a geographic underserved market, maybe it's an elderly population, a population that's not getting reached out to because the technology is limiting for that population. Or sometimes it's a psychographic market. Maybe there's a people that think a certain way that aren't being attracted because your competitor's reach is limited by what their capacity is. Right. So when we talk about underserved markets, it could be geographic, it could be a specific population, it could be a specific thought process.
Yep.
Maybe
I like
this
it.
guy can help me.
Maybe this guy can help me. Stop trying to outwork your competition. Start outthinking them.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we got to it.
Yeah.
It's just so much opportunity just to Les Brown says you got to be hungry.
Love it.
Like just at that base level.
Right.
To be hungry.
Right.
Now, for some, that may be natural because maybe you're starting out, you're new to what you're doing, you're new to your business, your company. For others that have been in the game a while, you have to. I always say it's not just about ROI; it's also about ROE.
Yes.
What is your return on energy?
Yes.
Do you have the opportunity to do this? Danny Glover was recently in the city, and they were posting pictures and different things. And I looked at one of the pictures because Danny Glover's up there.
Yeah.
And I looked at one of the pictures and I said to myself, how in God's earth is he doing Lethal Weapon 5? Like, what is, I'm looking at the picture and God bless Danny Glover. But I mean, Danny Glover's up there.
Right.
What is his role gonna? Are you telling me I'm gonna believe that Danny Glover is running down the street chasing bad guys? I just from my own, I gotta look it up real quick. Age, Danny Glover age.
I bet she's probably
he's 80. He's 79. He'll be 80 this year.
Right.
God bless him.
Indeed.
But I just couldn't help. I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, Lethal Weapon 5?
Right.
Like he literally, what did he used to say? I'm getting too old for this.
Right.
Like that was 30 years
in
ago.
The movie, right?
Yeah, that was 30
exactly
years ago.
Right.
So I'm saying that to say, you got to look at where you are.
Yeah.
And what you want to do. Is the return on energy there? You might have to say, you know what, you might have to look yourself in the mirror and admit, I have slipped. I have taken my foot off the gas a little bit. And if you're in your coasting time of life, not even by age, but just by whatever, where you are, that's fine. But now, what does the exit look like?
Correct.
Are there some hungrier folks you can bring into your organization? Right. Is it time to sell and exit and take advantage of that?
Right.
Versus letting your business erode or letting people come eat your lunch or starting to get a reputation of someone who isn't taking care of business like they used to.
Right.
Oh, he's lost a step.
Yeah.
This company used to be on it. Like Downhill, I was in a Cold Stone Creamery recently. I mean, what a brand that's eroded, in my opinion.
That's unfortunate.
They don't sing anymore. Remember when they used to sing?
Oh, I do.
You put the tip, hey, we got a tip, and they sing a song.
Yeah.
Like that was the fun part of it.
Right. It's ice cream.
Now
it's
these
fun.
places are run down. Now the woman, I don't think she could, because, if you've never been to Coastal Creamery, folks, part of it is them mixing the concoction.
Right.
So mixing the ingredients in front of you was part of the thing on the slab. I don't think she could have been lazier. She might as well have just put a scoop of the ice cream on there and dropped the top. The Oreo was damn near whole.
Oh, my goodness.
It's supposed to be crunched up, mixed in, the sauce and the whole thing.
Right.
It was terrible.
Right. There was no return, no energy to return in that situation.
Right. So game over.
Right.
Into the ground.
Yeah. So like it's like so I don't want the brand to die. All right. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah.
I mean, before I close, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, I'll leave it at this. Pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming. Thanks for coming back. And next time, bring a friend.
That's right up there with that. I gotta look at that other one from before
one.
the water. Yeah, what is it?
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, that's going good. That's viral. I gotta remember it. Well, folks, that's gonna do it for today. That's gonna do it for today's show. As always, we appreciate you being here. This has been another episode of the Grow Business Podcast. On behalf of myself, Corey Mosley, Lon Graham, LG007, and Willie H., we thank you, and we will see you next week. Willie H., take us out. Yeah, that sounded viral. I gotta go back on that one.
That ain't no AI, baby.
No. The ocean and the water needs to water the ocean.
I forget.
Yeah, it's something.
I forget.
We're gonna get it.
Yeah, that one will. Yeah, that one. Yeah, you're right.
Pick a fish and let it fish. Sounds like somebody's father-in-law. I know. Sounds like that.
Oh, Lord have mercy. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Oh my goodness. Ain't you something?
There it is.
That's awesome.
And we're out.
Indeed. Yeah, you talk about Danny Glover. I was watching. I'll sit down in front of the TV and just flip around and see what's going on. He was in that movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg.